Are you facing prosecution under UP Gangster Act? Then this video is for you. Hello, welcome back. I am Advocate Vikrant Pratap Singh and this is Indus Lax. Dear friends, if you are facing prosecution under UP Gangster Act, you have to know that there should be a base case, and that base case is relating to the whatever offences prescribed under section 2 of the UP Gangster Act. We can say that from subsection 1 to section 25 of section 2 there are list of several offences under which you have originally prosecuted by the state. Suppose that you have committed or there is allegation against you that you have committed a fraud, forgery, etc. Then if a person involved in that crime through a gang, or we can say there is a group of people, there are a group of people who indulge into such activity, we can say that is gangsterism, and commit those offences, then to prohibit such type of offences which is committed by group of people, this act is made. But on other hand, it is a very draconian. So for the proper protection of the citizen, our legislature framed the law which known as UP Gangster Rules 2021. In UP Gangster Rules 2021, a detailed procedure and mechanism are given, and according to these rules, if the authority is not followed the rules, it goes into your favor. So it is very clear that if you are facing prosecution under Gangster Act, then there must be a case or more than a case in which group of peoples are involved. So this act is invoked, and legislature is well aware that there may be misuse of this act by the authority, the people who are in the authority, who are in the state, who are as a police, to prosecute some person against whom they wish to. So the rules are made. Rule 1 defines short title and commencement, as I have said that these rules may be called Uttar Pradesh Gangster and Anti-Social Activities Prevention Rule 2021. And then in Rule 2 some definition clause are there. Rule 3 talks about the condition of criminal liability. When the criminal liability arose, so look at your FIR. If you are prosecuted under section 3 of the Gangster Act alone, then it is good ground for you to get quash your FIR, because Rule 3 especially mention that you will be only liable when there is earlier prosecution against you for those offences which are enumerated under section 2 subsection 1 to 25. So in the FIR, whenever the FIR is lodged against a person in the Gangster Act, the first point we have to look is that whether only section 3 of the Gangster Act is invoked, or along with section 3, section 2 is mentioned in the FIR. If section 2 and section 3 both are mentioned, then we come on next point to which we have to scrutinize in detail. Then rule 4. Rule 3 talks about the criminal liability, that there must be your prosecution under section 2, and in the section 2 there is list of offenses, and there must be a case registered against you at least in one offenses enumerated under section 2. Then rule 4 says presence at the scene of incident or direct participation in the incident not necessary. This rule is in the favor of prosecution, so leave it. Are in our favor, in a citizen's favor, that the principle related to gang chart enumerated under rule 5 and onwards. Here rule 5 is a very important rule. It's related to the how the gang chart will be prepared. It says rule 5.1, to initiate proceedings under this act, the concerned in charge of police station / station house officer, that is SHO / inspector, shall prepare a gang chart mentioning the details of criminal activities of the gang. Meaning thereby, to invoke this section, to invoke this act, firstly, a inspector who may be SHO must prepare a gang chart, and in that gang chart he will mention the what type of criminal cases in which you are indulged or an accused was indulged. Then further rule 5.2 says the gang chart will be presented to the district head of police after clear recommendation of additional superintendent of police mentioning the detailed activities in relation to all the persons of the said gang. Meaning thereby, SHO firstly prepare the gang chart. So you have to look whether the gang chart is prepared by the SHO or inspector or in charge of a police station. Then firstly you have to check, secondly you have to check whether there is a clear recommendation mentioned in the gang chart of additional superintendent of police. After looking these two things in the gang chart, the most important things are mentioned in rule 5 sub rule 3, that the sub rule 3 consists of 5 paragraph A to E, 5 clause actually A to E. Rule 5.3a says the gang chart will not be approved summarily. It can't be approved in a mechanical manner, but when it would be approved, but after due discussion in a joint meeting. Meaning thereby, when SHO prepare a gang chart and that gang chart is forwarded by additional superintendent of police, then in a joint meeting of the commissioner of police or district magistrate / superintendent of police or senior superintendent of police, meaning thereby joint meeting must be held when the additional superintendent of police forward the gang chart. Then as per the rule 5.3a, a joint meeting between the head of the district administration and head of the police department must be held. Now further, rule 5.3b says there may be no gang of one person, but there may be a gang of known and other known person, and in that form the gang chart may be approved as per these rules. It is obvious that for a gang there must be 2 persons. It may be possible that one person is known and another person is unknown. Rule 5(3)(c) says, gang chart shall not mention those cases in which acquittal has been granted by the special court or in which the final report has been filed after the investigation. However, the gang chart shall not be approved without the completion of investigation of the base case. So again it is a very relevant. Firstly, you have to check whether the gang chart is forwarded by additional senior superintendent of police. Then you have to find out whether the joint meeting has been taken place between the district administration, head of the district administration and the head of the police department. Then further you have to check whether in the gang chart that the authority mentioned those cases in which the accused was acquitted by the special court, or there is a mentioning of those cases in which already the final report has been submitted by the police department after the investigation. And it is also, we have to focus that the gang chart must be forwarded, gang chart must be prepared after the completion of investigation in the base case. On the basis of those cases upon which the Gangster Act is invoked, that the cases mentioned in section 2, if the investigation is going on for those offences which enumerated under section 2, that called the base case, and if the gang chart is prepared during the pendency of the investigation in the base case, it is a clear cut violation of this rule and it would be favor to your case. Further, rule 5(3)(e) is another important rule. It says that a separate list of criminal history as given in form number 4 shall be attached with the gang chart, detailing all the criminal activities of the gang and mentioning all the criminal cases, even if acquittal has been granted in those cases or even where final report has been submitted in the absence of evidence. Along with the above, a certified copy of the gang register kept at the police station shall also be attached with the gang chart. In addition to the above, the information of crime and gang members mentioned in the gang chart will also be updated on interoperable criminal justice system portal and crime and criminal tracking network system. So what it is saying, that you have to look that a separate list of criminal history is provided or not. At least there must be mentioning of number, that how much cases is registered against those accused which are prosecuted under the Gangster Act. And it may involve all the cases, whether there is final report is submitted or accused was acquitted by the trial court. So in rule 5 we have to look at least 3 important things. Firstly, the gang chart is prepared by SHO and forwarded by additional superintendent of police. Then there must be a joint meeting between the district head administrator and head of the police department. Further, we have to look whether the gang chart upon which the Gangster Act is invoked, the base cases mentioned in that gang chart, whether there is investigation is pending or not. If investigation is pending, prosecution case got fatal. What rule 6 says? It says relevant provision of the act to be specifically mentioned. While preparing the gang chart, it shall be clearly mentioned if the alleged act of the gang falls within the purview of clause B of section 2 of the act along with relevant provision. It would not be done mechanically that you invoke section 2 and section 3. You have to invoke very precisely under which provision, under which clause or under which subsection of section 2 of 2 of 1 to 25, which provision the authority is invoking, under which provision the base case falls. If the investigating officer makes an endorsement to the effect that accused is causing panic, alarm or terror in public, then evidence shall be collected in this regard. And if there is a mentioning in the gang chart that look, these gang members done such work which create panic and alarm in the society, then it is a duty of the investigating officer that he must collect evidence regarding this aspect. Rule 7 is another very important rules. It says charges mentioned in the earlier gang chart not to be made the basis of charges in the new gang chart. What does it mean? It means that the constitutional protection under section 22, article 22 of the Constitution of India, which prohibit the double jeopardy of the citizen. If action has been taken against a gang in the past under the act, and at present a new gang has been formed by the member or a gang leader of such gang, which has changed its criminal territory or is indulging in a new criminal activities, then while preparing the new gang chart, any crime mentioned in the earlier gang chart shall not be mentioned in the existing gang chart. And if crime is being committed by changing the gang with new members or with new gang, then this fact should be clearly mentioned in the abstract of the gang chart. In addition to the above, a list of criminal history may be attached separately. What it says that suppose that few people form a gang involved into a particular committing the offences relating to which fall into the ambit of section 2, then this act is invoked against them. Then after some time some members form a new gang by adding some new members into the gang. Then this rule says that if it is, then there must be mentioning of this aspect that look, these persons involved into the earlier gang chart, and apart from that gang chart, the members involved in earlier cases, few of them form a new gang and they involved into the such number of crimes, and a separate criminal list of criminal history of all the members must be annexed with the gang chart. Now after rule 5, always remember that there is the three major rules upon which the court will grant relief to you. That is rule 5 and rule 8 and rule 16. We have discussed the rule 5 that there are 5 clauses. First, that there must be a joint meeting. Second, that gang chart shall mention all the cases clearly, that in which cases you got acquitted, in which cases you got final investigating officer submit the final report. And further it says that there must be separate list of criminal antecedent. Further it also says that if the gang chart is prepared during the investigation, it is bad in the eye of law. So after seeing the rule 5, rule 8 is important. Why rule 8 is important? Because whenever the Gangster Act is invoked, an FIR is lodged. FIR is lodged on the basis of information given by informant. Who is informant in this case? That is in the Gangster Act case, that the station house officer is informant. How he is informant? Because he is preparing the gang chart. He is preparing the gang chart, so he is an informant. And he is an informant means that he will come before the court to verify the contents of the FIR in the court, in the trial court. So rule 8 says stating unconfirmed or a false information is prohibited. When a station house officer or in charge of a police station who is going to be prepare the gang chart, who is going to be informant of the case, this rule prohibit any mentioning of any unconfirmed information or giving a false information. What it says? It says the in charge of police station oblique station house officer oblique inspector shall not mention the cases as part trial or partial trial without ascertaining the up to date status of the case in the gang chart. Meaning thereby, it is a duty of the inspector or the officer who is preparing the gang chart. He must enumerate and mention clearly the status of the cases mentioned in the gang chart. He can't mention in a mechanical, in a general manner that this is the stage. He has to give up to date information. Further it says no unconfirmed or false information shall be entered in the gang chart. Third it says the latest status of case against the gang which are being shown in the gang chart regarding their pendency in the special court, the conviction or the stage at which they are in the court must be clearly mentioned. Now again come on rule 5. What rule 5 says? Rule 5 says without completion of investigation in the base case, you can't prepare the gang chart. Now suppose that investigation is completed in the base case. Now an officer is preparing the gang chart, so he has to mention that what is the status of that case, whether cognizance has been taken, whether charge is framed in that case, what is the stage, and it is up to date mentioned. It must be mentioned in the gang chart. Now rule 4 says, sub rule 4 of rule 8 says, responsibility of recording the correct and true information shall lie on the concerned in charge of police station, station house officer, inspector. Whose responsibility it is to give the correct information, to not give unconfirmed information? It is the duty of in charge of police station who is preparing the gang chart. On discovering an adverse situation, further the sub rule 5 of rule 8 says, on discovering an adverse situation, the in charge of police station oblique station house officer oblique inspector shall be held liable for negligence under departmental and criminal proceedings. So see how much it is tough for the police officer who is going to prepare the gang chart, because he is going to be informant in this case, and any unconfirmed or false information, if found in the gang chart, then he will be liable for departmental and criminal proceeding, because he is informant in the case. He can't prosecute anybody with malicious intent, or he cannot in a very summary or a mechanical manner prepare the gang chart. He has to mention that what are the cases upon which he relied on and invoking this gangster act. Further, he has to mention the status of the base cases. Further, he has to invoke this act and starting the work of preparing the gang chart only after the submission of charge sheet before the court. Rule 9, supporting records regarding section 4 of the act. All the criminal cases against the gang leader and all the members of the gang, whether they are from different police stations of the district concerned or they are of the other districts, in which action has been taken under the National Security Act 1980 section 107, 108, 109, 1010 of the Code of Prevention of Illicit Traffic in Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Act 1988, Uttar Pradesh Control of Gundas Act 1970, or any expulsion order shall be clearly mentioned in the gang chart, and a certified copy of the order taken under the aforesaid act shall be attached with the gang chart. If such action is taken subsequently, it may be entered during the course of investigation or trial as the case may be. This is a special class of rule that if a person is prosecuted under National Security Act or Prevention of Illicit Trafficking in Narcotic and Psychotropic Substance Act or Uttar Pradesh Control of Gundas Act, it must be mentioned in the record of the gang chart. It further says that all India Criminal Database of Crime and Criminal Tracking Network System or interoperable criminal justice system shall also be used for concerned in charge of police station in the collection of criminal history and criminal activities of the accused. So it is a very general rule. Rule 10 says records of base case. It says along with the gang chart, certified copy of the charge sheet and recovery memo shall be attached compulsory. It says that whenever you prepare a gang chart and upon those cases on which the in charge of police station invoking this act, and if that act involves some recovery memo and definitely the charge sheet, both shall be attached compulsorily. Where the accused is not named in the first information report and document discloses the way in which his name came to the light, and if something has been recovered, a certified copy of the recovery memo shall be attached with the gang chart. So it is a duty of the officer in charge of police station who is going to be informant in the case that if the FIR is registered against some unknown person or in name known person, but that not against the gang member, not disclosing the name of the gang member or a gang leader in that FIR. So the evidence which shows the involvement, which shows the complicity of the gang member or a gang leader as case may be, that paper must be enclosed with the gang chart. That rule 10 says. Present status of witness and accused. Rule 11 talks about present status of witness and accused. If any witness has turned hostile, it will also be clearly mentioned in the summary of a gang chart. In the concerned column of gang chart, the present status of all the accused, whether they are presently in jail or bail or absconding, shall be clearly mentioned. What it says that, suppose that in a base case if a witness is hostile, it must be mentioned. Further, it also says that the present status of accused, that whether he is in jail, he is in bail, he granted bail by the honorable court in the base case, that also must be mentioned in the gang chart. Now the rule 12, it talks about the responsibility in relation to the entries. It says all the cases to be mentioned in the gang chart will be mentioned after verifying the crime number, relevant section of the act and the police station carefully. Why it says so? Because if any of the information is unconfirmed or a false, then informant of the case, who is as obvious in charge of police station, is liable for criminal proceeding and departmental disciplinary proceeding. A list of all criminal acts of gang leader and members of the gang and the details as to whether final report has been filed in those cases or whether they have been acquitted by the special court shall be authentically prepared by the concerned station in charge station house officer inspector with his signature and seal in a manner given in form 3 of these rules along with the gang chart, and it shall be attached separately with the gang chart. A note shall be mentioned in the gang chart that the list of all the criminal acts of the gang leader and members is attached separately. If action has been taken against the gang or its member in the past under this act, then that will also be mentioned in the said list. It again give what says under rule 5 and rule 8 reiterated in the form of responsibility, that you have to mention the status of the case, you have to mention that when the charge sheet is submitted before the court, you have to mention whether in any case gang member or a gang leader is acquitted by the trial court. The latest status of the case against the gang being shown in the gang chart, whether they are currently pending in the special court or whether it regarding conviction of the gangster will be mentioned. The stages of cases mentioned in the gang chart, that is the base cases, must be, gang chart must disclose the stage of that cases. Concerned station in charge oblique station house officer inspector, after thoroughly matching and confirming all the forms attached with it and after being satisfied in that regard, shall forward the gang chart to the concerned circle officer oblique additional superintendent of police, additional commissioner of police. So there are very much onerous duty on the informant who is in charge of police station or SHO or inspector who is going to prepare a gang chart. He has to collect all the information regarding the criminal antecedent, regarding the cases pending against those accused, regarding the cases upon which he is going to invoke the Gangster Act, that called the base case, and when the charge sheet has been submitted in the base case, what is the current status of the base case, whether he is acquitted in any cases mentioned in the list of criminal antecedent. After giving all these information, after providing the recovery memo, after providing the other information what mentioned in rule 5, rule 8, he will forward the gang chart to the additional superintendent of police, or we can say circle officer. Then the correctness and reliability of the entries and facts in the gang chart shall be ensured by police officer not below the rank of circle officer who has prepared the gang chart. And now it is a duty of additional superintendent of police or circle officer that look, your informant who is preparing the gang chart has given several information. He enclosed all the certified copies and list with the gang chart. The duty of additional senior superintendent of police or a circle officer is to verify the contents as per rule 8, that there must be not unconfirmed or any false information mentioned in the gang chart. Otherwise, informant is liable for disciplinary and criminal proceedings. Rule 13 is some such rules. Actually, there are many rules in the Gangster Act. Rule 5, Rule 8, Rule 16, Rule 12. These rules are general rules which are applicable in every cases, but some rules like Rule 13 are of such nature that is applicable on few peoples who upon whom this prosecution is going to be initiated. What Rule 13 says is specific statement of offences committed for economic, material and temporal or similar other benefits. While writing the abstract below, the gang chart and particulars separately with the gang chart, the particulars of those offences shall specifically mention, which have been committed for pecuniary, materialistic and temporal or similar benefits, or which disturb the public order, or which are ground for detention under the National Security Act. Further, Rule 14 provides provision in respect of newly added offences. The gang chart on the offences added by Uttar Pradesh Gangster and Anti-Social Activities Prevention Amendment Act 2015 can be prepared only if they are committed after 20th January 2015. Otherwise, they can't be included in gang chart, though they may be shown and accompanied with the gang chart in the list of criminal history in a manner given under form number 3 of these rules. It is very interesting that the offences which are mentioned in section 2 subsection 1 to 25, earlier this 1 to 25 is not there, it is about 15. So it talks about that if the new offences you are going to added which are added after 2015, that from subclause 15 to 25 we can say, I am not confirmed that from what are the additional clauses added, but now the time it is a 25. So in the gang chart only those offences will be added which are committed after the 20th January 2015. If any cases which may be used as a base case nowadays, but it was committed before the 20th January 2015, that case can't be make as a base case in the Gangster Act. Arbitrary selection of gang / member of gang prohibited. Now it is a very important, again this section, this rule, sorry. There should not be a situation of arbitrary selection against any gang under this act. You can't select a gang arbitrarily. If action is not to be taken against any member of a gang who has committed a criminal act in association with the said gang, then in such a case clear and reasonable grounds for not mentioning his name in the gang and gang chart shall be recorded with reasons and evidence. Suppose that a crime was done by group of 5 people. So authority cannot pick and choose that he invoked the Gangster Act against 3 person and exonerate 2 person from that, from the invoking the Gangster Act. This rule bars it. And if authority want to proceed against only 3 person, they have to clearly mention this aspect, that why these 2 person, named of 2 person, is exonerated from invoking the Gangster Act upon him, on them. Final decision as to whether to include or not to include the name of member of gang in the gang and gang chart shall be at the discretion of Commissioner of Police or of the district magistrate. Now, in the initial part of our discussion, I told you that Rule 5, Rule 8, and now Rule 16, these three rules, we can say it is a golden triangle to save yourself from the prosecution under the Gangster Act. Rule 16 has three rules, sub rule 1, sub rule 2, and sub rule 3. In the manner how the gang chart will be forward. Remember what, from where we have started? We have started that who will prepare the gang chart, who will forward the gang chart, how the gang chart will be scrutinized, who will give final verdict that yes, whatever evidences you have collected or whatever evidences is collected by the informant is correct. That duty is on upon the additional superintendent of police. Once a gang chart is prepared by the station house officer and forwarded to the additional superintendent of police, he has to verify that all the entries are correct in the light of Rule 8. Then Rule 16 says in the manner the gang chart will be forwarded. It says forwarding, the following manner shall be followed in the forwarding of gang chart. Forwarding of the gang chart by the additional superintendent of police. The additional superintendent of police will not only take a quick forwarding action in the case, but he will duly peruse the gang chart and all the attached forms, and when it is satisfied that there is a just and satisfactory basis to pursue the case, only then will he forward the letter along with the recommendation given below on the gang chart to the superintendent of police / senior superintendent of police. When additional superintendent of police verify all the contents mentioned in the gang chart and he is satisfied that all the information is correct, then only then he will forward the information to the senior superintendent of police or superintendent of police, case may be. Forwarding of the gang chart by the district police in charge. When the gang chart along with all the forms is received by the senior superintendent of police or superintendent of police with the clear recommendation of additional superintendent of police, he will also thoroughly analyze all the facts, and when it confirmed that all the formalities of the act have been fulfilled and there is a legal basis for taking action in the case, then he should forward the gang chart to the Commissioner of Police / district magistrate, stating that I have duly perused the gang chart, attached forms, and I am fully satisfied that all the particulars mentioned in the cases are correct and there is a satisfactory basis for taking action under the Uttar Pradesh Gangster and Anti-Social Activities 1986 accordingly approved. So, it is a duty of the informant that he must not mention the unconfirmed or a false information. Duty of additional superintendent of police or a circle officer is that he must verify all the contents, that whatever mentioned in the gang chart are correct. Then it is a duty of senior superintendent of police or a superintendent of police that they check that all the requirements and formalities regarding invoking of this act is completed. Then he mentioned that I have looked the gang chart and other papers. I am satisfied and I am approving this. Further, resolution for the Commissioner of Police, District Magistrate. I am talking about the joint meeting, that's Rule 5(3)(a). When the gang chart is sent to the Commissioner of Police or District Magistrate along with all forms, all the facts will also be thoroughly perused by the Commissioner of Police or oblique District Magistrate, and when he is satisfied that the basis of action exists in the case, then he will approve the gang chart, stating therein that duly perused the gang chart and attached forms in the light of the evidence attached with the gang chart, satisfactory ground exist for taking action under the Uttar Pradesh Gangster and Anti-Social Activities Act 1986. The gang chart is approved accordingly. Rule 17, use of independent mind. And this is a rule upon which you can argue several points. The competent authority shall be bound to exercise its own independent mind while forwarding the gang chart. So, it is a duty upon Superintendent of Police and also on Head of District Administration that they apply their mind independently, peruse all the records. Further, it says a pre-printed rubber seal gang chart should not be signed by the competent authority. Pre-printed rubber seal gang chart should not be signed by the competent authority. Otherwise, the same shall tantamount to the fact that the competent authority has not exercised its free mind. Meaning thereby, there must not be a printed pro forma where they are already mentioned that yes, I have looked all the information, I have verified all that, I have recommended that, and they just put the seal and sign there. It is prohibited by Rule 17, and if it is so, it would be presumed that the authority has not applied his mind independently. What will be the format of the gang chart? Rule 18 says that the gang chart shall be sent only in the manner as given in form number 1 of these rules. And after it, there are several rules regarding the sanction of investigation and prosecution sanction. And the most important rule on this aspect is Rule 19, that investigation to be done by different police station. What it says, after getting the approval for Commissioner of Police or District Magistrate, subsequently after the registration of case under the Act in concerned police station, the investigation will be done by the station in charge, oblique station house officer or inspector of a different police station, not necessarily from the police station concerned. What it means? Suppose that an inspector or SHO or in charge of station has make the gang chart, become the informant of the case. So if that inspector is posted at a police station, then investigation must be done by the inspector, station house officer or SHO posted at B police station. It says Rule 19. and there are other several rules, but for our purposes, rule 5, rule 8, rule 12, rule 16, rule 17, and this rule 19 is important. So be focused, look your case. These rules are made for your protection, and if there is no violation in regarding these rules, your prosecution is going to save yourself from this prosecution is very difficult. So you have to thoroughly examine whether the whatever the information demanded by the rules, given in the rules, that this is the checklist that the authority should annex all the papers as per these rules, and if it is not done by the prosecution is going to be failed in the court. It depends upon you when you approach the court. If the FIR is registered, you can challenge that FIR on these grounds that look, there is a violation of these rules, that the violation of rule 5, rule 8, rule 12, and Honorable High Court will grant you stay. And if pleadings are exchanged and charge sheet is not forwarded into the police into the court, then you can get the quashment of this FIR. If the charge sheet is filed in the court and you have summoned by the court, then the criminal proceeding will be quashed by the Honorable High Court or Supreme Court, as the case may be. But you have to challenge this, and if you are facing the trial, you have to argue these points at the time of hearing. But the best thing is that whenever you challenge your Gangster Act, in the 99% cases there are violation of these rules. Even there is no mentioning of the joint meeting, if there is no resolution, if there is no press release, all will go into your favor and court will grant you relief. Further, there are several pronouncements of the Honorable High Court and Honorable Supreme Court that these are the guidelines and it must be followed from time to time, like judgment of Binod Bihari Lal, that is of Honorable Supreme Court, judgment of Allahabad High Court, that is Sunny Mishra, is of Allahabad High Court. In these judgments, it is also mentioned some guidelines which must be followed by the prosecution. Otherwise, FIR is going to be quashed, criminal proceeding is going to be quashed. So be safe, defend yourself, be effective. Thank you.